making...
Hello, everybody, and welcome to coverage of Pro Tour Return to Ravnica here from Seattle, Washington. In the booth, my name is Marshall Sutcliffe. I am joined by Pro Tour historian Brian Marshall. And we're going to be seeing John Finkel, he's on the right-hand side of your screen, versus Mamoru Nagai here. Now, this is Return to Ravnica draft, and, oh.
We're all good.
Looks like the players just started.
Okay. All right.
All right, so we're just giving the players the go-ahead to continue, and we see a mountain from Finkel. Now, we've got a chance to take a look at his deck list, Brian, and he's running one of the tougher guilds to make.
All right, you and I have been really trying to figure out. We both have an inclination that we want to play as it.
Yes.
It seems like the kind of thing we want to play, and we've not been able to figure it out.
Yeah, I've had like
not really been able to make
sporadic success.
And really, we're kind of doubting its existence.
Yeah.
Right?
Kind of, yeah, I'm starting to say, is this a thing that exists?
So, if it exists, we're going to see it this round in the hands of John Finkel.
Yes. And right now, it looks like John's going to lead off with a Viashino Racketeer, and he has the opportunity to rummage here, as we say. It's a lot like looting, except for you discard first, and he is going to do it. And he discards...
An Essence Backlash.
Yeah, an Essence Backlash. Seems reasonable, and he just passes the turn back. Now,
Mamoru Nagai is playing a more
straightforward,
to play guild in the sense that it's Azorius.
Okay.
And this is one of your favorite cards in the set, the Liev Sky Knight.
Yeah, Liev Sky Knight comes down and is going to detain the Racketeer for a turn. Ooh. I think we have an answer in hand. Oh, no, that's actually the guild mage, right?
Okay.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I thought it might have been an Is It Staticaster, which would have been pretty spicy there to take out the Sky Knight right away. All right, so he's going to do the inaction injunction afterwards.
Good.
Even though maybe he could have next turn been able to.
I mean, does he have a Staticaster in his deck? I don't know.
Yeah, he does have one.
You know, maybe you an action injunction. Oh, I guess he didn't have enough mana to do both either way. So he just wanted to use up all 4 mana for his turn. And really a powerhouse uncommon for this set, Skymark Rock, hits the table for Nagai. And that's going to set back Finkel quite a bit if it manages to attack. Now, Finkel's holding a Dispel. He just drew a Rune Wing. He's got an Island, a Pursuit of Flight, and an Electrickery in his hand. So Electrickery can 1 for 1 whenever he wants. For the Liev Sky Knight. Let's see if he just wants to get that out of the way or if he wants to wait. Nope.
He wants to make his Guild Mage
unrockable.
Unrockable.
Yeah. Ooh, this is a pretty nice attack, too. So he sends in the Racketeer. Now, you could make an argument that he's going to send it in because, hey, it's just going to keep getting bounced anyway, and he'd rather just send it in. But really, he's got Electrickery in hand as well. So if the Skymark Rock does block it, it's going to be a full board sweep.
The Rock gives him a little extra credibility on the bluff.
It does. It's a pretty easy bluff to make, I think, anyway, just because the Skymark Rock really is one of the more powerful creatures in the format, and, you know, losing it to something just seems scary. You know, if you're in Nagai, so you just don't want to lose it to a Racketeer. But Electrickery, if that's what Nagai figures out that Finkel has, is particularly bad for him. I mean, he'd still lose his Racketeer in the process, but. So John is deciding what he wants to do.
Trying to decide if he wants to kill the Sky Knight here.
Yes, if he wants to just do it now and play around things like Dispel, Cancel, and just get it out of there, or if he wants to wait. He is just going to Electrickery right now.
Yeah. Besides, he does not want to try to be greedy
and
get maybe a 2 for 1.
And you know, it's an interesting play because he did have loot mana available for his guild mage, so he really, you know, he's giving up something there. He had something to do with his mana, but if he likes his hand and he just is worried about getting raced,
right,
then
when you say loot mana, basically for red, blue, and 1, you can draw a card, discard a card.
Yeah, from the guild mage. Yep. And I mean, Have you ever looted before? Like,
yeah,
it feels
awesome.
Real good. Yeah. But also not taking like 6 damage in the air feels pretty good. And there's quite a few cards that Nagai can have that'll take care of the electricity, which is why John just said, you know, we're going to take care of this right now.
Maybe he just figures he'll be rummaging every turn with his...
Yeah, he might be anyway. Yeah, the Racketeer is going to be returned to his hand here almost for sure. Even though you do get some value from playing the Racketeer and getting the rummage effect, it's taking up so much of your mana for almost no effect on the board that it's still worth it for Nagai to use the Skymark Rock's ability.
And now he's going to attempt to just completely clear John's board with Dramatic Rescue. John does have the Dispel. We can see it in the overhead shot.
That's right. He says, no, sir. And that's the other benefit to using Electricity on his turn.
I feel like Rich is going to come bursting through the wall like a Kool-Aid man and go, "Witch spell?"
Don't encourage him. He might do it. We're trying to work here. Witch spell. I might use that.
See, John just drew a Chaos Imps.
That's a good card.
And now
man, I think that's a lot of power.
Loot
instead of rummage, basically.
Instead of rummage, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely wants to leash the Chaos Imps up to his front yard.
Yeah. Yeah, Chaos Imps certainly doesn't care about the Skymark Rock much. Can attack right into it, can block it. All right, so Rune Wing hits the bin, and John,
how many cards do you have?
Before attacking, wants to know how many cards Nagai has. You'll see John Finkel do this a lot. He'll set his cards down and put his hands on his lap and kind of just survey the scene. This is what it looks like when the master of the game is thinking. And he does decide to battle for 4 here. And he says, sure, I'll take it. Go down to 10. John's sitting at 17. He's at a pretty comfy life total here. And he just says, go. He's not in a great spot, though. That Skymark Rock is really, like, I see a Stealer of Secrets in John's hand. I also, that's a Sphinx of the Chimes, actually, not a Stealer of Secrets.
He's got a couple of 6-drop flyers that he would like to drop.
Yes. Wow, those are just massive as well.
And there you see a guild leader, it looks like, in Nagai's hand.
Is it an Asperia or is it an Archon of the Triumvirate?
It looks like an Archon of the Triumvirate.
All right, so Asperia is the guild leader, but Archon's
the promo card.
Yeah, the promo card from the pre-release, and it's just a sweet card. I think we're going to see a Skywatch here. Yeah, Asperia's Skywatch is going to detain the Nivix Guild Mage, and he's going to pass a turn back. So this is actually a big turn. A land here would be I didn't mean any land. I meant a enters the battlefield untapped land, which is not what John has drawn. He's drawn an Is It Guildgate, which is going to set up next turn quite nicely. But as we know, well, now this is actually kind of interesting because Nagai now, if he's got another land, he'd love to just run out the Archon of the Triumvirate. But man, that's a lot of untapped mana into an Is It deck. Like the chances of having a counterspell are pretty high here.
I mean, John's not in a bad shape here. He's got his potential flying blocker, back online. It's come out from under the detention. So he can, block. He can loot if he needs to.
Mm-hmm. And he can still represent counterspells the entire time.
Yeah. So he can ditch that Stealer of Secrets probably.
No, it's not. It was actually just Sphinx of the Chimes.
Right, it is the
yeah, like I thought it was Stealer of Secrets. Slightly better card. 5/6 flyer.
Yeah. No.
It looks like it from kind of far away, but
have you discarded 2 cards to it yet?
No, I've seen it done.
Yeah, I've seen it done too. I haven't done it.
I haven't done it. Would do. But that Racketeer is just going to get looted away, I think, once it can. All right, so wow, so he's just going to go for it. He's just like, you know what, Archon of the Triumvirate, does it resolve?
No respect.
Just slams it on the table. So John's thinking. Now, he's been thinking just long enough so that Nagai probably realizes that it's not getting just like insta-countered, but he's going to actually just loot. It's funny because he tapped exactly cancel mana as well, just for the fear factor, you know, like, oh, he's got me. All right, now we're going to see a discard here. Either the Mountain or the Yoshino Racketeer. Probably just, just going to just a Racketeer.
Is the Guild Mage's second ability relevant at all here?
Nope. It only copies your own spells, and John doesn't have any. He's got a Mountain, a Sphinx, and an Imps. So that's just not doing much here. Just trying an island here.
So suddenly John's 6-drop creatures don't look nearly as impressive as they would have looked a turn earlier.
Yeah. All right, so he attacks with his Guild Mage. Now he's attacking into a 4/5, which looks kind of silly, but it's going to get detained anyway, and he's never going to be able to do anything with it, so he might as well send it in. You know, it's a pretty tough block. Again, you know, we've already seen Electrickery. There's a whole bunch of different burn spells, and John's seen 3 cards since Nagai last interacted, so this is going to be an interesting situation, though, because Nagai can call here, and he can take out the Guild Mage, but it doesn't really do much.
So keep in mind, John can actually loot a couple times here and try to craft a hand with Annihilating Fire and Explosive Impact.
Yes, he can. And this is the risk. I'm pretty sure that if Nagai was sitting at 1 less life before that attack, that he actually would have blocked. I'm not sure what he might have just double blocked or whatever, but I think he would.
Oh yeah, just because you get to you have like 3 draw steps to hit a Explosive Impact.
Yeah, that's just not going to do it.
Loot, and untap and draw.
Yeah. All right, he is going to loot right now. And he does hit and is at Staticaster. Now, that's another reason that Archon might not have blocked here. Unfortunately, you know, it's not doing a ton in this position. In fact, it just kind of does nothing. Right. It doesn't actually block any of the guys.
Right, it doesn't fly.
It doesn't fly.
It's like FL, Ash.
Yeah, Ash, yeah. And it doesn't go to the head, so, you know, he can't do that. Now, John's making sure that he keeps hitting his land drops, because if it does come down to Explosive Impact plus something else, he's going to need that mana. Right now,
or though, Annihilating Fire, copy Annihilating Fire.
Yeah, that's 6. There you go. Yeah, good one. I didn't think about that. So, although... No, it's going to be detained.
But he'll have a window where it undetains.
He will, and he should still be alive, because right now he's about to take 10 damage.
Right.
And that'll put him to 4, so you're right.
There's
Ethereal Armor. Is that... That's one of your favorites.
I love that card. It still doesn't kill him.
Does not kill him currently.
Of course.
Attack. Okay.
Says attack, sure.
Weirdly, I think the guy might have a... use that in response.
He draws a Stealer of Secrets, and this time it's actually a Stealer of Secrets, so that's probably just going to get binned, and it does.
Okay. Take 11.
He says, all right, take 11, go to 3. Now, the Azorius deck doesn't have the
his cards. Punch that in there. I think he has Knightly Valor in his hand, which means he could have,
which would have killed him.
But I guess he was just worried about. It might be. Does he have Knightly Valor, or is that Sentry Blockade?
Security Blockade.
Security Blockade. Sorry. Oh yeah, it's a Security Blockade.
Right, so double detains. He throws out an Asperious Sky Knight. This man apparently fears no Mizium.
I saw red, but it was not.
It was the Splatter Thug or something.
Yeah.
All right, so this is looking dire.
Go ahead.
Now he will have this one opening where he gets to loot, but he's not going to have enough mana to loot and copy. Loot again. All right, scoop him up. You know, a card like Bluster Squall could get John out of that situation.
Yeah,
a card like Cyclonic Rift, you know, he unfortunately wouldn't have been able to use both, but would have kept him alive for a turn. We get a look at one of his best cards there, Mercurial Chemistry.
Yeah, Mercurial Chemistry.
Guy's sweet. I drew my whole deck last night with that card.
Wow, look at Nagai's deck. Nagai actually has the enchantment deck. He has 3 ethereal armors.
And he's running all 3?
He's running all 3. 3 ethereal armors, 1 security blockade. Just like looking at his enchantments. He does Nagai has a Bluster Squall.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
I like Nagai's deck quite a bit. 2 dramatic rescues, pretty nice. You know, we're going to see if John wants to react.
He only has those 4 enchantments.
Oh, okay.
So he's just running those as
just value.
My guy's first strike there.
They win combat now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Yeah,
and it stays.
We had a match that card made a big difference.
Yeah, oh, it made the difference.
Yeah, you had to keep attacking with your volatile rig.
Yes, and what would happen is the volatile rig would get hit by your first strike, and then they kept dying. So if you're in John Finkel's seat, you've got the Pursuit of Flight. Are you just taking that out against Azorius?
I mean, I saw Dramatic Rescue.
Yeah.
I saw 3 detains, right? 3 detain spells. I'm not excited about it there. I mean, I think in general, I'm not excited about it against having that in against blue.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm not really going to always be able to fly over their guys, which is what makes the card good against some of the other decks.
That's a great point. It's like on a Stealer of Secrets or something.
And they have Detain, and they have Bounce.
Yes.
And they have Arrest, and they have Paralyzing Grasp.
Yeah.
And they,
Yeah.
The list just goes on and on.
Yeah, I think it's not improper to pull. Now, if your deck is built such that you get that one hit out of Pursuit of Flight, and that's kind of what you're looking for, sure, but that's probably not worth a card. A few extra damage. Yeah. Sometimes it is.
So, at Grand Prix, it was actually at the World Magic Cup at Gen Con.
Yeah.
I had a chance to meet Brandon Sanderson.
Which is great for you. I remember how excited you were.
Yeah, I'm super excited. He plays Magic. He's a very famous science fiction author. He's completing the Wheel of Time series. He's written the Mistborn series fantasy author. And we were talking about writing, which was I had a chance to talk with, go to dinner with him and talk to him about writing. And he talked about when he writes. Mm-hmm. He has 2 styles of writing. Okay. We have 1 match result while Cedric Phillips up 1 game over Oiso, and Karsten up 1 game over Ianaga. That's from the back tables. He said that, sometimes when he writes a book, he's an architect.
Okay.
Right? He's building a blueprint.
He's got a plan.
He's getting the materials.
All right.
And he's building it up very methodically and very deliberately.
Okay.
And then other times, he's a gardener.
A gardener.
He plants some seeds.
Uh-huh.
And he sees what happens, and he lets it grow, and it takes on a more organic.
Okay. He's an organic gardener.
Yeah.
Nice.
So.
Okay. Yeah. No, I can see what you're saying.
And I've been thinking about this a lot as you and I have had this ongoing dialogue about drafting for like the last year or so.
Yep.
And I think that it actually defines kind of our 2 styles.
Oh, okay.
Certainly where we were maybe a year ago. I think we've both maybe met in the middle.
Yeah, I think we have to.
But a year ago, you were very much an architect.
Yes, absolutely.
And I was very much a gardener.
I see. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And I'm curious how these guilds break down in terms of what you need to be doing.
Yeah, no, I think that actually applies a lot to the Is It deck that we're seeing John Finkel here play as he plays his second mountain and just says go. In that, what I've noticed is that deck needs pieces.
Specific pieces.
Yes, it needs like this plan, like when I sit down and I haven't quite figured out all of what it wants, or he says unleash my Splatter Thug, go. And I haven't quite figured out exactly what the deck needs. I've seen some highlights. I know I like Cobble Brute. I know I like Pursuit of Flight, which is not a card I normally like, but I really like it in the deck. I know I like Teleportal and Bluster Squall, but I'm not sure quite how to piece everything together. Feels like I want to be an architect.
And you don't feel like it grows like into something very usable when you approach it more.
Yeah, I feel like I just sort of end up somewhere, and sometimes it just falls very flat. Now, if you put me in, let's say, Golgari, I feel like I can just... There's a Lobber Crew there for John. Still nothing. Well, it's on the stack. I guess it could get canceled. But instead, he's going to...
Avenging Arrow gets dispelled.
Avenging Arrow gets dispelled.
Step away from the wall.
Yeah, so the Splatter Thug will live to battle on. That's a pretty nice sequence there. But I was thinking, with Golgari, or even in most of the other guilds, I can be a gardener. I can just kind of see where it goes. Sometimes you pick up a couple Trestle Trolls, and you're like, I'm the defensive deck. Sometimes you pick up a couple Drag Manglers, and you're like, let's beat somebody down. Where with Izzet, it feels like you definitely need certain pieces to make it work. All right, Rune Wing. Not doing a ton here.
Yep.
Might block if he's desperate for a card. But Nagai just says, man, I'm just take some more damage. Goes down to 14.
Good.
And a Rune Wing of his own. Still has that Lobber Crew activation sitting there. And another Dispel in hand as well for Finkel. They never have the second one, right? Isn't that how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, unless you're playing John. If you played against John a couple times, he's always, you don't even think for a second he might not have the third one.
He's good for it.
John, untapped islands is one of the scariest positions you could be in playing Magic.
Like, all I'd want to ever do is just duress. Like, I just need to know.
all you really ever want to do is, like, you're playing John, all you want to do is beat him.
Oh, of course.
Doesn't matter what the stakes are. Doesn't matter what situation it's in. Like, I want in the mental scoreboard, right? I want to know I beat John Finkel.
Yeah, that is a scoreboard item many would like to have, and few do. All right, so Lobber Crew does what it does. Pings Nagai on end step, and John draws his card for the turn. He's surveying the scene here. It's a Tower Drake for Nagai. Now, he's also made sure to leave the planes up so that he can use its toughness pump ability if he'd like.
Or maybe representing Swift Justice.
Sure. First strike?
Yeah.
All right, so first strike damage, yep.
Both
and
players draw a card.
They're both going to draw a card from their Rune Wings.
And that's a Goblin Rally for John.
Oh, really? That's interesting. All right, and he's just going to play it. Now, that's a card that I actually haven't had a chance to play. Do you have any experience with Goblin Rally yet?
You know what? I haven't actually cast it yet.
Yeah, it doesn't come up that often. It's an uncommon.
It doesn't feel like it always fits in with what I'm trying to do. No. Like when I've had a chance to pick it early and it hasn't understandably come around in the middle of a draft match to me.
I mean, one card jumps to my mind when I see Goblin Rally. Dino Charge.
Sure, absolutely. I lost to it.
Uh-huh.
I lost to it on Friday.
I also did. That's a lot of damage.
So, Nagai is sitting, there, he's drawn the land, and you see he's got a handful of Justice that he wants to meet out. It looks like he's got an Azorius Justiciar.
Yep, that's going to come down right now and dole out some amount of Justice. Thug and one token are going to be detained.
And then he's got a couple of looks like he's got a couple of dramatic rescues.
Okay.
So he's going to be able to, set up a situation where he can just maybe cycle at Justiciar.
Although his life total is slowly going down as John Finkel remembers his Lobber Crew and takes Nagai down to 9 on end step. Attacks. All 3 of them. So it looks like John has recognized here that he's in a situation where with all those cards sitting in Nagai's hand, he's going to want to get him dead as soon as he can.
7.
So this 2 damage brings Nagai to 7. He's virtually at 6 thanks to the Lobber Crew, though.
Look, everyone I can attack with is going to attack.
Yeah. And he's going to play something huge. Is it a Sphinx? Yeah, it is. Sphinx of the Chimes comes down. This is a 5/6 flying. And it's going to create quite a problem for Nagai. Like, sure, he can dramatic rescue it, and that's going to gain him some life. which is going to be helpful, but I don't know that that's the long-term game plan against a Sphinx. Like, he's not, John Finkel's at 18.
Right. We also see a Bluster Squall in his hand.
Yep.
John also has a, looking at his deck, I see he's got a Stealer Secrets in hand. He does have another Stealer Secrets in his deck. We could see the mythical limited activation of the Sphinx of the Chimes.
I'd like to see that. 2 Dramatic Rescues, 2 Vassal Souls, and a Bluster Squall.
Nagai could go to town with that Sphinx.
I believe also a Skymark Rock, or maybe...
I think it's a Skymark Rock.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
But against the Sphinx, it's dramatic. It's time to just to dramatic rescue it, and that's what he does.
Goes to 9.
9.
Which is relevant. I mean, John's going to, have to take note here that the life gain is going to start adding up over time, but the question is are these Vassal Souls, like the one we're going to see right here, are they going to be enough offense to take Finkel down in the same time frame? So Nagai goes back down to 8.
Splatter Thug can start attacking again.
Yep.
John's like, no, not Stealer Secrets.
Yeah.
John can't really attack with the goblins at this point.
He could get in for 1 extra damage at that.
Yeah, I guess he can represent Electric Ray.
Yeah. He could.
There's a chance that the guy will respect that, but he's low enough that he can't really afford to respect it.
He can't. He can't take 5 here with a, or actually 6. It would have been 6 damage here with the Lobber Crew out, and then 7. He's just at 1 and he's dead. So yeah, he would have to block anyway.
5.
All right, he takes it, goes to 5.
John's going to play Stealer, and he's going to have Dispel mana up.
He's going to play the Sphinx. Yep.
That's what I meant.
Yep. And he's got the Dispel sitting there. And that's actually going to be huge here, isn't it?
I think it's just, he might just Sky Knight it here.
Ah, okay. Does he have a Sky Knight or a Skymark Rock?
Oh, it's a Skymark Rock. You're right.
Is it? I haven't seen it. I think it is a rock, though.
There you get a look at Sphinx of the Chimes on the right. Yeah, and there's the Dramatic Rescue, but John is going to be like, no, sir.
No, don't think that's happening.
I had 2 of them. I had them from the start of the game. Thank you.
Don't you usually say, I just drew it? Yeah, it is a Skymark Rock. You're right. All right, so Bluster Squall is also something that the guy can use to stay alive, but I got to say this Lobber Crew is kind of the elephant in the room, isn't it? It's just tick-tock, tick-tock. So we think John's last card is the Stealer's Secrets.
I believe so, yeah. So the guy's essentially at 4.
Oh.
Finkel says, Lobber Crew you. Yep, Stealer's Secrets is joined by a Goblin Electromancer.
Well, he also has 2 Goblin
Declare attack.
Electromancers.
Declare attack, Bluster Squall. Now this is going to tap all of Finkel's creatures. And he says, with that on the stack, I will ping you. That's I think people forget that one, just tap all their guys, because they're used to doing it on end step.
Yep.
But not John.
Yeah, not John. And he's going to get to untap his Lobber Crew with the Electromancer.
So Nagai is sitting at 2 life with the Lobber Crew activation.
Doesn't want to play the Stealer Secrets.
Decides not to play it. I mean, there is Supreme Verdict.
Sure.
It's a possibility.
Represent Essence Backlash.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, although
you're not going to you're not going to be able to get away much of a bluff when you're like, well, I have to play this or I die.
Yeah. Exactly. Guy is deep in the tank here, but he's had enough, and he's just going to scoop him up. All right, so John Finkel takes down the second game here to equalize. That means we're going to get to see a game 3. Always enjoy seeing John play. I know you've been watching him forever, BDM.
Yeah. You know, I mean, there was a time where you didn't know that there was skill in Limited. Like, Limited didn't even exist as a sanctioned format. You know, we used to run tournaments back in the early 90s, and one of the tournaments we'd run in the morning was a sealed deck for a Juzamjin.
Oh, sweet.
Right? And I don't remember. Like, sealed deck might have been like, here, we give you 2 starter decks.
Uh-huh.
Or, you know, we don't give them to you. We charge you an entry fee.
Yeah.
We give you 2 starter decks, and you build a deck.
Uh-huh.
And then you play, and then it was like, I don't even remember. It may have even been most wins, or there was some bizarre.
But there wasn't a set structure beforehand.
It was a 40-card deck.
Uh-huh.
And John just won all the time. And it was like the first time you realized Limited was very much a skill game, like the idea of building your deck.
And John was already good then.
Yeah, already good then, already an is it then, I think.
Yeah. Wondering which guild is right for you? Take the guild quiz at guildsofravnica.com and then declare your allegiance on planeswalkerpoints.com to earn special badges and achievements. I chose Is It, and I'm even wearing my shirt today to prove it.
Simic chose me.
They chose
I'm
you.
even wearing my shirt today to prove it. Frank Karsten, by the way, 2-0 over former world champion Junya Ianaga.
Okay.
Cedric Phillips still, I believe, 1-0 over. Oh, they're tied apiece now. So Iso has evened up the match. So it's 1 game apiece, Cedric Phillips and Masashio Iso. And, you know, we'll try. And Nassif has already won 2-0. The 2004 Player of the Year, Gabriel Nassif, defeated 2005 Player of the Year.
Oh, wow.
Kenji Samura, 2-0.
With his Is It deck, too.
With his Is It
he
deck.
put it together there. I would like to know how those games played out. You know, look, I'm in Is It. I'm experimenting, right? And I'm trying to figure out how does this thing work. I think it was a pretty clever twist, you know, by R&D to make the Is It deck not obvious, right? Like, you have to experiment to figure out what it does, which is what the people that want to play it do anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty good stuff.
That's funny. You were talking about how you really like Cobble Brew in your Is It deck.
Yes.
I mean, you like it in general, right? If you're Rakdos,
yes.
you like it.
Yes. Because one of the things that I've noticed about it is that when I first saw it, I was pretty turned off. I thought, oh, it's just going to trade. Like, they're going to have a bear, and it's just dead. And I'm like, yeah. But then what I realized is if you're in the Rakdos deck and you make a 3-power guy on turn 2 and another 3-power guy on turn 3, and you're beating your opponent down, and then you play a Cobble Brute, yeah, sure. Go ahead. Trade it off. And you're still going to take 5 or 6 from my other 2 creatures, and it just puts them in a situation that is like, they don't really have a great choice. You know, they can trade off for the Cobble Brute, but then they take a ton of damage as a result. And, man, if they stumble, or if you have removal, you know, you've got the Augur Spree or something, they're just dead. Like, they just take 100 damage. Also, you know, I've got a lot more respect for cards like Deviant Glee and Pursuit of Flight. Such
un-Marshall-like cards.
Yeah, like, I feel kind of dirty for even saying that on the stream that I like those cards, but I've been running them pretty much nonstop. The fact is, the removal in this format is slow enough that you can get away with it.
I was going to say, and again, it's sort of like in Constructed, sometimes we will see you know, what people refer to as a slide deck. You know, a deck that has a few early creatures. And, you know, you don't need those creatures to live through the whole game.
Yeah.
You just need those creatures to get in and do 7 damage.
Whatever their role
6
is.
damage. Yeah, right. Just here's your mission.
Yep.
Get in there, tussle, you know, eat some of their life.
Yep.
And then we'll wrap it up from, you know, we're gonna lay down some fire and, you know, finish them off.
Yes.
And I mean, that's exactly what happens with not with the Is It deck, you know, but again, the Rakdos deck. You're like, okay, I'll attack with this guy. I'll Pursuit of Flight him.
Yep.
I'll bash in for 4. Okay, now you're at 10, and I'll, you know, 5U, 5U.
Yes.
You know.
And I've done that. I mean, that's not uncommon play to have.
Or I'll 5U, 3U with Annihilating Fire and.
Yeah, and the other thing about Cobbled Brute is that he does
impact.
actually trade up very well. Like, there's a lot of creatures that he eats. All right, so players are looking at their opening hands here for Game 3 here in round 10.
John has to mulligan a one-land hand
John
there.
says, can't
Peeks
keep
at
it.
the top, says, yeah, that was probably right.
And I think Nagai's kept his hand.
The guy said he's keeping. Look at that.
You know, it's interesting.
What did that? Let's take a look at.
He's got plains, ethereal, armor, rune.
Oh, he's got a plains and an island.
Yeah, plains and island, and then he's also got a cellar of songbirds and one card.
Maybe a Tower Drake.
Tower Drake. Yep, that's what it was. I mean, it's a hand.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, now I don't know if this works against John's deck particularly well, but sometimes putting up 4 to 6 power in the air by turn 5 and just you know, that's a plan.
Yeah.
Dramatic Rescue is a card that helps that plan out a lot.
Sure.
What is that card on the side? He just keep that one for last.
He puts one in the hole.
Oh. He kept this one.
Good.
I mean, he saw a mountain and he kept it.
Okay.
He was like, I'm not going to 5.
Goblin Electromancer for John Finkel.
Is that going to get bounced? Is he going to just say, I don't want to?
Well, it seems like just by virtue of the fact that he's thinking this long that John's probably pretty suspectful that there is a dramatic rescue in this game.
Interestingly, John's also played for Goblin Electromancer in Modern.
Oh, he did?
He's not playing 4 here, but yeah, he's got Goblin Electromancers in his Pyromancer Ascension Storm deck.
I saw that. I was like, whoa.
And Mamoru Nagai passes the turn without playing a 3rd land.
So that explains why he was considering doing that, because if he drew a land, then he would have been able to also play a spell. Now, it looks like he's trying to get a Splatter Thug, and he does, in fact, see a Splatter Thug. Now, John Finkel can be worried a little bit about Syncopate here, but
I don't think he...
I mean, not that he wouldn't play it, just that's the only card to really consider, but dramatically rescue it.
The guy resets his life total.
And he does not hit a land. I believe that's a security blockade.
It is.
Uh-oh. This could be a quick one, potentially, although John, you know, thanks to the dramatic rescue, he still only has 2 power on the board currently. This is where you want Bloodfray Giant, man.
Unleash.
And he says unleash, and now Syncopate wouldn't even have been an issue in this case. So 5 power all of a sudden, and the guy draws Skymark Rock, and this is going to be over very quickly if he can't hit a couple of lands.
John can explosive impact him for 5 next turn on 5 mana if he wants to.
If he
or
he can
anything
go land
he plays.
impact, yeah.
He has the 1 mana inaction injunction.
Yep.
Which is pretty sweet.
Looks like the guy's considering getting rid of Inspiration.
He has to, right? Like, he has to play creatures
every turn.
On every turn.
Yeah.
Like, he just has no turn which he can see playing that.
Yeah. He does hit the land as well. He already had another one anyway. All right, get in there for 5. Go to 13 and play a Rune Wing. So John's content to just develop his board, and that is... Well, it's a dramatic rescue. I mean, all right, and you know, he probably expected that to get dispelled, but John didn't have it this time. Interestingly, Inaction Injunction just cannot, when he draws it as well. He actually can't play Inaction Injunction because it only targets creatures your opponents control. It doesn't happen.
You can't just cycle it on your own creature.
That's right, which is... I mean, I think the general thought is that if that's the case, you're doing fine anyway, like what we're looking at here.
Good.
John tapped his mana, kind of interesting there. Didn't leave up cancel mana. Again, it's not like the guy's playing around anything at this point.
Yeah.
All right, so he does draw an island, but is it too late? He's already at 11. No board state. It is too late, right?
It's clearly too late.
Yeah. Yeah, without something like a Supreme Verdict, just something to just put the hammer down on this board state, it's going to be really tough to recover. I mean, he can play a guy. He can trade for the Electromancer.
He needs a Liev Sky Knight here. You know, block the, detain the first striker.
Block the Electromancer and the flyer or whatever.
He's probably going to play the Cellar Songbirds here and be able to block 2 creatures.
Yeah, looks like it. Unfortunately, he can't block 2 creatures very well.
Oh, no, it's not good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is definitely better than just playing 1 threat, because if he did that, then Inaction Injunction would be more live than it is. Although it'll do plenty here. Judge brings in a actual bird token.
and John draws Mercurial Chemister. One of the cornerstones of the Izzet architecture that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, so I was starting to think of my blueprint, and that guy's in it. I can have rares, right? I mean, it happens.
He might be the architect.
Yeah, he might be.
So
wait, I know who the architect is in this deck. It's Jace.
Oh.
Architect of Thought, right?
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's funny.
And I would put him in the deck as well.
So John plays an Action Injunction on the token.
Yep.
And attacks with everybody.
There's chump blocks, but there's no great blocks. That said, Nagai's not dead. Even if he doesn't block, he's not dead. He's
not dead this turn.
What's that?
He's not dead this turn.
This turn, that's correct.
I mean, he basically needs to play land Supreme Verdict.
Yeah, and he doesn't have one.
He doesn't have.
Sure.
7.
All right, so it only takes 4. He goes to 7. Well, there's a Bluster Squall. Again, though, Bluster Squall as a defensive spell, very underwhelming. He also can't overload it. Is the security blockade?
But he's tapped out. John can just send 5 to his head, untap, attack with everybody.
And he just shows it to him. Says, pay 5, put you to 2, and attack with everything. All right, so John Finkel manages to finish it off as Nagai was struggling on hitting his lands. Okay, so it looks like we're going to come back to me and you. So I think if I'm going to architect the deck, I want Mercurial Chemister.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome back to the booth.
Saying.
Marshall Sutcliffe, Brian David Marshall. I think the one that I want the most, I don't know that it's the best, but it's the one that I want the most, Cyclonic Rift.
Yeah, I love that card.
Oh, man, I got just blown out by that card in a draft match against Coverage Writer Nate Price last night.
I'll take a Mizium Mortars.
Hey, you're not a greedy man.
I'm not greedy at all. That's not my nickname.
Wait a minute. Greedy M?
Yeah, you've got me.
All right, so it looks like they're ready at the news desk. You and I are going to grab a bite, but we're going to come back and do even more.
And a bite, you mean a draft?
Yes. In fact. All right, so let's send it to the news desk, and we'll see you guys in just a little bit.